2015 was an unusual year for the city of Hot Springs. The city organization and the community keenly felt the loss of city manager David Watkins following his unexpected passing in August of last year. The Hot Springs Board of Directors promptly appointed Deputy City Manager Bill Burrow as its interim city manager, and many projects for which the groundwork had already been laid were carried across the finish line. Bill, 2015 was quite a year, wasn't it?
Oh, Terry, that's an understatement. With all that took place in 2015, there were many highs and certainly some devastating lows. But it was certainly a challenging year for us all.
Well, today we have the opportunity to review your time as interim city manager, and so much has taken place, as you say. If you could start with what you might feel was the city's biggest accomplishment during that time, what might it be?
Well, you know, Terry, instead of trying to put your hand on any one particular item, that we've accomplished many things in 2015. But I think for me personally, as well as the city staff, it was just trying to maintain the momentum that we currently had with the devastating loss of David Watkins. I mean, that was such a sudden blow that none of us certainly expected it, and we were really thrust into leadership positions that he had us well groomed for.
Yes, and certainly there was a determination to carry things forward at that time.
Certainly, and you know, being able to come together, you know, I get a lot of the credit for things that have happened and being able to maintain things over the past several months. But I can tell you, it's the dedicated workforce that we have, from the management to the staff and every employee. They continued to progress the city. We knew what our goals were. We continued to track towards the completion of those goals, and I think everyone from senior leadership to the field employees, we've all have done that, and I think have done that very well.
Sales tax revenues saw an upturn, a significant upturn in 2015. Were there other signs that also pointed to a robust local economy?
Yes, certainly. When you look at the advertising and promotions hospitality tax revenues, they were up 9% over the prior year. Really good growth there. The local unemployment dropped to 5.6%. When you look internally within some of the permits that we issue throughout the planning department, they issued 4,100 permits for a value of $41 million. 30 million of that was in the commercial sector. So that lends to a very robust economy, and things were really happening in 2015. When you look at just to name a few, the Embassy Suites went through their remodel. We have the Hotel Hot Springs, which began theirs, and it'll be completed in April. The Thompson Building, which is a new 62-room boutique hotel in the downtown area. We've got the Federal Bank being transformed into condominiums. The Landmark Building, we now have a 4-year institution with a partnership with National Park College and Henderson State. Great for the community. When you look at the expansions that happened with Oaklawn, which their revenues were up, I believe, 33%. National Park Medical Center, in the midst of a huge expansion to that facility. Then we have our Walmart neighborhood markets, CVS pharmacies, and just a multitude of others, and all of those are indications of a strong local economy in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Truly remarkable, and not just all downtown, the development that you just mentioned.
Certainly. I mean, what I just mentioned there is certainly a big portion of downtown, but it's throughout the entire community, both inside and outside the corporate limits.
Also in 2015, let's turn to the Majestic Hotel. It was a catalyst for downtown growth, but it was also a thorn in the city's side. So how did the disposition of the Majestic Hotel change in that period of time?
Well, you know, Terry, that's a good question. When you talk about the true catalyst for downtown, in my opinion, was the implementation of the Thermal Basin Fire Code that happened in late 2013. And of course, the Majestic Fire was February of 2014, and when you talk about the Thermal Basin Fire District, you know, the city invested $800,000 to provide infrastructure and basically water pressures and flows to the downtown area that would enable the property owners to have a fire suppression system from the third floor on up for some of those multiple floor structures. Now, the Majestic Fire certainly brought the attention to the need to preserve our buildings in our downtown area, and it's you know, devastating that we weren't able to save the Majestic. However, it was I guess you could say it was part of that catalyst that brought in the change in downtown, just from a public awareness standpoint and the need to do those things, as well as you know, a thorn in the side. You know, I'm going to call that another one of the big challenges that we took on as a city and as a community. You know, we had an absentee owner for that structure. A lot of people would turn to the city, when are you going to clean up the rubble? When are you going to do something in this? And really, you know, it was outside of our hands. That was private property. We could write the citations, and that goes into the court system. And we could spend a lot of time just talking about that, how all of that transpired. But, you know, this board of directors had the courage to step up and say, we are going to do something about this problem. And they purchased that site in 2015, and we immediately began working on cleaning up that rubble and moving forward with what's going to transpire with the other structures.
And there's been a lot of positive community response as a result.
There is no doubt. And you know, when you go up and you see that site and you see how the original building was built in a tiered status, I mean, it looks like maybe the first, third, and fifth floor were all ground level in the back. But we see some of those rock walls, you know, they were laid in the late 1800s. Remarkable. And now, you know, we still are looking or reviewing what the costs are going to be to move forward with the other two structures. I get questions on what's going to come to that site, and that's something that I believe our board is going to have some community involvement as we look forward at future uses. But our goal as staff continues to let's clean the site, continue the momentum that we have there, and get that ready for those decisions in the future.
Bill, what are some of the other major challenges that the city faced in the past year?
Well, outside the Majestic, I mean, you know, we've had our challenges with our water supply and obtaining future water supply. We've continued to have our public safety radios as one of our high priorities, as well as the consent administrative order. All of those we have path forward. The water supply, we continue to work through those issues, and we're currently working with the Corps of Engineers on addressing some of the final comments that we have for the demand model, and we'll be continuing to move that through. We're probably looking somewhere around October before we really know where we're at on that. So that sounds like a long way away, but that's really fast in terms of working with some of our federal agencies. But we're optimistic, and we're continuing to work through that water supply. Public safety radios, we continue to work through that, and we have a path forward there. The board approved a consultant to come in, and this particular consultant is not tied to any particular radio system. And in the past, we've had some that looked at this system. So we want to make sure that we have a very objective view of what that need is in public safety. Something that we could partner with our other public safety agencies throughout the community, not just in the city, if they choose to be part of that. We want to make sure that there's an availability there. But we really need to know what is best and what meets the needs that we have in the city of Hot Springs, and have that path forward. And we'll know that once this public safety radio evaluation is complete. And then finally, the consent administrative order. We're in the final stages of that. One of the largest was the Stokes Force Main that the board approved just here recently. That is going to take care of 18 of the 21 overflows that we had to rectify through this consent administrative order. That'll take us into 2017. However, once we complete this last portion of the work, and everything that we've done for the past 8 years have led up to this point. So we're very excited that we're coming to the end of that particular tenure process. And again, sometime in 2017, we'll see that come to fruition, and we should be released from our consent administrative order at that time.
We'll have to celebrate that day for sure.
That's going to be a big one.
Yes. Bill, by the time this segment airs, the new city manager will have been on board. And do you have any final comments looking back on your time as interim city manager?
Wow, Terry. You know, David passed away on a Monday, and I was appointed interim city manager on the following Tuesday. And things happened so fast, and trying to jump in, and luckily David had engaged me in most of the issues that we were facing, so I was able to pick it up and move. David had us well positioned should something happen, though I don't think he ever thought anything would. But we partnered very well in that, and certainly another point of a true leader is making sure that your staff is ready should something take place, and he certainly did that. But as I look back on my tenure over the past 7 months or so, I think I can take pride in the fact that we were able to keep the train moving down the tracks. We were able to move into 2016 with a huge amount of momentum that continues to today. March was unbelievable in the city. So I'm very proud of the things that we've accomplished. I don't think I'm through the grieving process of David Watkins. I don't know that I've really had time to stop and really reflect on that. But I can tell you that he was great for the city of Hot Springs. Beyond that, we're looking forward, and I'm very excited to welcome David Frazier into the city of Hot Springs. And from here forward, and as you said, by the time this airs, David will be on board, and so I'll be shifting my role back into one of support and making sure that whatever David's direction is or vision is for the city, that we stand ready to help him be successful in whatever endeavors he moves the city forward with.
I think you echo all of our sentiments that we're looking forward to the next chapter, but we want to thank you and acknowledge you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
You stepped up at a time when it was greatly needed for our city, and it's just been amazing all the progress that has taken place.
Certainly, and I want to again echo the fact that a lot of the things that we accomplished were visions of David Watkins and others in the community, but he was really that driving force when you look at things that are happening in the Park Avenue downtown area and throughout the community. He gave us a really good game plan. I was just able to take that and make sure that we were still focused and moving forward. And again, the credit goes to the staff of the city of Hot Springs, not Bill Burrow, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate them.
Thank you for your insight, as we look back a bit, and we also look forward. And we hope that those that are viewing today share our excitement as we look forward to the next chapter. Only great things for the city of Hot Springs.
There is no doubt.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. And next week, we'll bring you more city news.